It's cold. Most of you are miles from home, and you're afraid. Oh, you are so afraid. Welcome to another episode of Ghosts, Myths, and Legends. Hi, my lovely spooky crew. How are you all doing? It's October. Spooky season is upon us. It is a lovely autumn sunny day with just a few showers, and it is a great day to tell a little ghost tale. Now, this tale, to me, it feels very haunting and has a sadness to it. Some stories, when I research them, hit you like that. It's weird, the ones that do. I mean, in this tale, they were there to, it was in essential, well, I can't see, I never can speak English, so can I? Essentially, it was like a little war, it's a rebellion, so there's going to be fighting on both sides. There's going to be, there was going to be fighting and killing, but just the thing that happened to them and everything just kind of hit you in the feels. But that's me, you might feel different. But anyway, our tale takes place on the Dingle Peninsula of County Kerry. Now, brain fog. Anyway, here there used to be a Viking settlement of Smerwick Harbour, and on this settlement was built Dun An Oir. That is the only time I'm going to say any of these Celtic words. I do not want to damn fibrofog. It's like they're floating. But I don't want to discredit my Irish ancestors by trying to say the words all wrong. But anyway, or Fort de Oro, the Fortress of Gold. Now, legend has it that at the end of the 16th century, explorers were returning from the Arctic, and they hit a reef, and their ship, which had a cargo full of black gold, sunk, taking the gold with them. It was then later found out that obviously black gold is fool's gold and absolutely worthless, so they used the gold that either washed up or was found as building blocks in the fort, so Fortress of Gold. But that's not really the cusps of our tale. No, that's setting the scene. Our tale takes place, well, it starts to take place in 1579. Now, James Morris Fitzgerald starts the Second Desmond Rebellion against the English and all who side with them. Now, the Desmond Rebellion was against the threat of the extension of the English government over the province. Primarily, the feudal lords didn't want to have their independence taken away from the monarchy. They didn't want the monarchy to take, their land and their stuff and everything. But see, this is Ireland, so there was some religious elements to the rebellion too, namely religious antagonism between the Catholic Geraldines and the Protestant English. See, I told you, it's not just ghosts, you do learn things. Anywho, back to James. He took position with his men at Smerwick and was slain within a month of being there. But the rebellion continued, and Pope Gregory the 13th, I believe, just counting on my fingers, sent papal troops in September of 1580, led by Sebastian de San Giuseppe, to aid the Fitzgerald's army. Now, the men only numbered 600, but they had money and arms and that brought with them from Spain and Europe and the Pope and all that. Now, the Desmond boys, they were doing really well to start with. They held off the English for quite a bit, and the English just sort of had to do something. They were in a holding pattern, I believe. They were like holding, I don't know the general terms, but yeah, the Desmond boys were doing good. But then the English sent Admiral Winter and the Deputy of Ireland, Arthur Grey. Now, they also sent thousands of Navy people. So now they were trapped by the ships blocking the bay. You had Grey advancing towards them, and there's a daunting Mount Bandon behind them. It's a big mountain range. Giuseppe has to give the order for them to flee back to the fortress, where they bravely battled on for 3 more days as the English constantly gave siege to the fort. In the end, they surrendered without condition. Overseen by that wondrous man, Sir Walter Raleigh, the rebels and the papal troops were gathered together and the officers were led away. Now the 600 men were taken to a nearby field, now known as the Field of Cutting. Every last man was put to his knees and beheaded. Their heads were buried in the said field, and the bodies were thrown into the ocean like you would pieces of trash. There was no thought, no care, no consideration to them. But in a way, they were lucky, because the officers dealt a bit more of a horrible fate. The officers were told to immediately abandon their Catholic faith, which of course they refused to do. So their limbs were broken multiple times in multiple places, and they were left in agony for a day before being dragged out and hung. Now, because of the way that, they died, and the horrible way their spirits linger, and this isn't helped by the fact that many centuries later, the erosion of the Atlantic coast has brought out their skeletons and their skulls. And every year now, on the anniversary of the massacre, the field is once more alive with the sounds of the tormented souls. You can hear crying out of voices in Spanish, where you can, even if you don't know Spanish, you can hear the fear and the torment and the suffering that they had. And the wind is said to carry the stench of rotting flesh with it. Now, differing things says the date is different. On one I read it was in October that this happened, and in one thing I read it was November. So I'm not sure, but if you ever find yourself in Smerwick Harbour in County Kerry, and you find yourself by the Fortress of Gold, which is ruins now, but the field is still there obviously, and you do happen to be there on the anniversary of the massacre, the spirits will let you know. You will hear their mournful cries, smell their dead flesh, and feel the sorrow that was there. Now, you may want to go there in November and see. I think it's either the 1st of October or the 1st of November, but again, it's sketchy. So, but if you're ever in that area around those times and you do, let us know. I just find this a very haunting tale. I think it's the disregard for the bodies, and it's just sad what humans can do to each other, whether it's in war or just in general. We are quite a mean race, to be fair. But I hope you liked our little tale of the ghost of, maybe one more time, the ghost of Dun An Oir in County Kerry. If you liked it, thumbs up, subscribe, ding-a-ling, and all that jazz. A lot of people that watch me are appreciated. Don't subscribe. If you just subscribe, it helps grow. I'm slowly growing, which is fabulous. So thank you to every one of you that have subscribed to my channel. But yeah, if you watch it and you're not subscribing, just hit the link. You don't have to bother watching anything else if you don't want to, or just watch the ones that interest you. But just hit the subscribe and perfecto. As always, take 5 minutes just for yourself. Take a deep, centering breath. Release. Take time to have a cuppa, something to eat, something stronger if you're watching this later in the day. Just look out the window. Thank you for spending some of that time that you have to yourself, watching me and listening to me just waffle on like I do. You are all so important and so valued. Be good. If you can't be good, be careful. From me and the ghosties. Have a wonderful day. Look after yourselves. Till the next time, see you on the flip side.